If someone had told me that in just 1 week I'd be living in a $30 million penthouse in Manhattan, literally swapping lives with a twin sister I never even knew existed, I honestly would have thought they were crazy. Like, there's no way. But yeah, that's exactly what happened. Hi, I'm Emma Martinez. I'm 17 and I live in Brooklyn with my single mom. Every morning, I wake up at 5:30, not because I want to or because I'm super motivated, but because I don't really have a choice. My mom works 2 shifts, waitress in the morning, janitor at night. Every morning, I make her coffee, and that's kind of the only moment we get together before we both rush into another exhausting day. One thing about Brooklyn is that everyone knows your name. Mrs. Chen next door always gives my mom leftovers. And still, sometimes I just feel tired and overwhelmed with poor life. I had no idea that one meeting that afternoon would completely flip my life around, like a full 180. The first day I met Ava, I had no clue she was my long-lost sister. I honestly just thought she was some rich girl. A Mercedes pulled up, a bodyguard opened the door, and she stepped out wearing designer clothes and sunglasses, looking like she belonged in a totally different world. Then she took off her sunglasses, and I froze. She had my face, like exactly my face. I stood there completely stunned, and the whole way home I couldn't stop thinking, who is she? The next few days, I couldn't focus on studying at all. That girl was stuck in my head. Jake, my classmate, kept trying to check on me, but I didn't have time for romance or distractions. I was fighting for a scholarship, and that felt way more important. Then, that Monday, she showed up again, this time in my class, wearing our school uniform. The teacher introduced her as Ava Sinclair, our new transfer student. I froze. She'd found me. Ava looked at me, then smiled. We were identical, down to every detail. The whole class freaked out, and Jake even blurted out that we looked insanely alike. But I knew this wasn't just about looking similar. After school, Ava pulled me into the library and handed me a thick stack of documents. She told me she'd been secretly investigating for 3 months and that we were twin sisters separated when we were 2. There was even an old photo of us being newborns. Our parents split, each taking 1 child, and our dad later went missing during a rainforest expedition. We both broke down crying. Ava told me she lived in a $30 million penthouse with her CEO stepmom and technically had everything, but she'd been lonely her entire life. A few hours later, we were sitting in a cafe trying to cram 17 years of lost life into one conversation. That's when Ava made the craziest suggestion I'd ever heard. She asked if we could swap lives for 1 week. Just one. She said she wanted to know what it felt like to be loved, and I deserved a break. I hesitated, but when I looked at her, I nodded. 1 week. We went into the bathroom to switch clothes, bags, phones, everything. I took off my glasses and handed them to Ava. She held them carefully, like they were fragile. Ava smiled and said it felt weird, like putting on someone else's life. When the driver opened the Mercedes door, my heart was pounding. I watched Brooklyn fade away and Manhattan light up ahead, whispering to myself that it was just 1 week. At the same time, Ava was walking toward my Brooklyn apartment. My first day in the penthouse was overwhelming. Everything was shiny and expensive, but it was also quiet in this really uncomfortable way. When Victoria, Ava's stepmom, came home, she placed a check on the table and said it was this week's money because she had a meeting. Then she left. I stared at the check, realizing it was worth 3 months of my mom's salary. After dinner, I went up to Ava's bedroom. It looked like something straight out of a movie. Huge windows, soft lights, everything perfectly arranged. Her closet was bigger than our entire apartment, filled with designer clothes, bags, and shoes I'd only ever seen online. Then my phone buzzed. I got a text from Ava. She sent me a photo of her and my mom smiling in the kitchen. Mom's teaching me how to cook. So far, so good. She hasn't noticed anything. How about you? Are things okay over there? I stared at the photo for a second, feeling that tight ache in my chest, then typed back that everything was fine. I told her her stepmom had left me a thick stack of cash. A few seconds later, Ava replied, "Just keep it. Spend it on whatever you want." The first day I woke up in this new life, everything still felt strange. At the same time, I felt excited because for the first time, I had so much money. I kept thinking about buying something nice for my mom and tasting the rich life. Walking through a luxury mall full of designer brands, I thought I'd feel excited, but instead, I felt out of place. Then my phone buzzed. Ava texted me saying she was going to the Brooklyn Farmers Market with my mom to sell homemade cupcakes. She smiled like she'd won a gold medal and texted me that she sold 20 cupcakes. The days after that, things seemed fine. Ava was happy in Brooklyn. I had money and comfort, but honestly, I felt lonely more than I felt happy. That's when I realized something. A rich life isn't as great as it looks. Without love, it doesn't mean much at all. At school, Ava and I didn't need to swap lives at all. There were no parents there. After school, though, we always split up, each heading in a different direction, back to lives that weren't really ours. On the fourth day of the swap, during a break in the library, Ava told me she was happy in Brooklyn, but also starting to feel a little worn out. Then she quietly told me that last night she almost got caught. She told me her heart was racing the entire time. After that, she encouraged me to hang in there. We were almost at the end of the week. At that point, it still felt like everything was under control. Until the fifth day. Oh no! Parent-teacher meeting day. Ava and me look at each other, totally freaking out. I barely slept the night before. At our school, students had to be there with their parents, no exceptions. That afternoon, I was sitting on a bench in the hallway next to Ava's stepmom, waiting for our turn. I tried to look calm, but inside, I was freaking out. A few minutes before the meeting, we stood up to stretch and get ready. And that's when it happened. At the other end of the hallway, my mom appeared, and right beside her was Ava. My heart dropped. The moment the two women noticed each other, everything felt tense. My mom looked at Ava, then at me. Victoria did the same. No one said anything. But their eyes lingered, confused, unsettled. And in that quiet hallway, our secret started to crack. That night, all four sat down in the Brooklyn apartment. Victoria was sitting on an old chair, looking at the tiny room with eyes, not believing this was where her daughter lived these past days. Silence. No one dared speak. I stood up, voice shaking. "I'm sorry, I did this, so Ava could know what it's like to be loved, to have someone genuinely care." Ava cried, "I don't need the penthouse, don't need money. I just want someone who asks, 'Did you eat? How was your day?' Just that. And for 17 years, I never had it." My mom stood up, arms open wide, then hugging both of us. And Victoria, sitting still, watching the three of us, eyes red. For the first time, she realized what she'd been missing. Victoria stood up. "I can help Emma's family financially. For 17 years, I thought money was enough. I was wrong." She looked at Ava. "I'll try to do better." Weeks after, Victoria started coming to Brooklyn every week, trying to learn cooking. Not like she suddenly became a perfect mom, but at least she's trying. Mom at Penthouse, the two of them, learning to cooperate for their daughters. Ava and I don't need to swap lives anymore. We have each other.